Okay, guys, first of all, I'm going to say I'm really sorry for the loud birds, but we'll get to that soon. At the moment, I'm starting you off in the greenhouse today. So in the greenhouse, everything is going reasonably well. There's a few things that I want to look into. But first of all, I'll just point out here, my kitchen scrap has actually gone to flower, which I'm 100% fine on. It can go to seed, and if I remember to do so, because I've been quite busy lately, I'm going to harvest the seeds from that. Other than that, I have got these tomatoes going quite well. These are just 2 pots laying around with a bit of soil, so I could move these out of the way today. There we go. So in here I have got my tomatoes. Now, one of the things that I really want to look into, because I'm not 100% sure, but I know I can find the answers, and that is why some of my tomatoes in this health kick plant seem to have almost like a lacquer band effect on them. So some of you watching this video might know exactly what that means, but for me, I've got no idea. And it's even happening on this plant here. So I'm even noticing a little bit of an oddness in the leaves here, a bit of a curling. So again, this is my first health kick plant, so I'm not 100% sure why it's happening. It could be something basic, or it could be nothing. But sometimes doing the research pays off, because it might actually have something to do with overwatering, underwatering, underfeeding, overfeeding, anything like that. So sometimes exploring why something's looking a little bit odd could actually be something, or it may be nothing. Doesn't hurt to take the time to just have a quick look. Google is your friend. Absolutely, I believe that 100%. So yeah, just noticing a few things today, and I think it's worth looking into. But moving on, all these are looking absolutely fabulous. I'm going to do a stir fry this week, and I'll be definitely harvesting this before it goes to flower. I can actually see a little bit of flowering happening over here, so I'll be harvesting that. These ones did get harvested down here, so, and that one got chopped into a bit. The tomatoes are going good, so these ones are actually for sale because they're nice and small. These ones were my spinach plants, I believe these ones were. So I was expecting a different style of spinach than this, but that's okay. Yeah, they're just looking a bit odd, I reckon. But they did have a bit of a tough time taking off, so the basil's looking really, really good, and believe it or not, I still haven't dealt with this one over here. It's still like this huge cluster, so I really need to get in and separate that. Luckily, it's still going quite well. The oregano, you might have remembered that this was only a small little plant not so long ago, and now it's just crazy. I'm thinking if I lift this up, the root system is going to be through it. Yes, it is. So that needs to be repotted. And then I've got the sweet basil here and some parsley. I've got the fennel still sitting in there. And then over here I've got a grass lizzie. And it's got a tomato there ready for harvesting. As you would know from my last video, I showed that I'd potted up some of these. I haven't really checked to see how it's going, but you can see that the soil is still nice and moist. So I just make sure it's wet, and some of them have started to go to root, and I know that because if I give a very gentle tug on this, it's not coming out of that soil, which means that it has produced its root system. So if I gently tug on this one, it comes out easily. That's because it hasn't developed that root system yet, so I'm going to bury that back in. And same with these. If I go like this, you can see it comes up, no worries. Although, oh no, we have got one little shoot down here. So it's just one of those singular ones that go down. So I'll cover that back in. So this didn't take long at all to actually get a root system on it, and they're a variegated string of pearl, so some of them will be ready to go into pots already. The yellowing that I've noticed happening on this, some of it will be just simply old leaves dying off, but as I've looked closer up here, I have noticed a bit of yellowing here. So I'm thinking, wow, those birds are so noisy. I'm thinking along the lines that maybe it needs a good feed. So sometimes when you get the yellowing of leaves, it can either mean that one, it's an old leaf and it's dying off, as this one is. But if you notice it up a bit higher, it can actually mean that it has actually used all the nutrients in the pot and that you actually need to give it a feed. So something to keep an eye out for and pay attention to. Again, just like I was talking about before, taking notice of how your plant is looking can actually give you a bit of a story as to how it all is going. So look at those tomatoes though. That's a nice little bunch happening there, a good size. So that's the tomato plants, and now I'm going to take you out to where it's going to be even more noisier because of this tree. It is literally full of hundreds of lorikeets and happy birds, and they're all flying around out there and they're all squawking their heads off. So I hear them from inside, no worries. Look at them up there, flying around everywhere, being noisy. So I'm not sure if you can actually see them at the moment, but they're up there. I know you can hear them. So lorikeets, they're just so noisy. So one of the problems with what's happening here is that I did not realise that I was going to get these flowers all over this tree, and I did not realise that these flowers were going to bring in all these birds. So obviously with all these birds comes all the droppings. And of course, what's underneath the tree in this little corner is my veggie patch. So I've had a chit chat with my husband and we're thinking that we're going to scrap the silver beet because we do not want to take the risk of accidentally consuming bird droppings and getting sick. Worth it. I do have silver beet in other sections of the yard, so I think that it's going to be well worth us just getting rid of that and harvesting from where we've got it in other locations, because we really don't want to get sick. Same with the herbs, we don't want to get sick from consuming them. So some of the stuff I think we can probably keep because we can actually bring it right up to temperature and get rid of anything that's going to be harmful. But otherwise you can actually see the glistening. Hopefully I don't get any on me, but there's a bit of glistening on the leaf just here, which, and even this one here, it's not just poo, it's their wee as well. So you can just sort of see it everywhere. It's a bit of a disappointment. As I said, I had absolutely no idea that this tree was going to produce these flowers. And I must admit, the flowers are beautiful. Let me have a look. Can I get, yeah, see this one here? Quite pretty. And then it is nice to see the lorikeets out here, you know, they are quite pretty, but they're very noisy. And as you can see, I've been raking up my leaf piles all over the place. And I'm glad that I have got quite a lot of plants away from being right underneath this tree. So over here, all these ones have been safe. I can actually see that there's been nothing on them. There's no shininess to say I've been weed on. So thank goodness for that. And then I've got all these capsicum plants here. These are the for sale ones, and they're all luckily away from where the birds actually are. Geez, I really love this one. It is so pretty. So, and I have actually noticed the bees coming along, and landing in the flowers. So that's a good indication to say that we're probably going to have some seed pods on these. So whoever's going to be buying these is most likely going to get the seed pods. So, which is pretty cool. So, still lots of plants for sale there. Now, going to take you over to the other section where this is all my plants that are not for sale as yet. Everything's looking happy and healthy. Love the look of these ones. It's still one of my favourites. I don't know why, it just is. This one, believe it or not, this is actually in a tray where all the root system's coming out down the bottom. But these are actually really happy in here. So, as we move away, it gets quieter and quieter. I love it. So my Mr. Lincoln has got a flower. Have a look at that. Absolutely stunning. Such a beautiful red. And such a beautiful smell too. And then I've got another one here that's going to be opening, and check it out, I have got cucumbers. So absolutely over the moon with that. Absolutely over the moon. And then when you see the little baby ones starting to develop, like over here, look how tiny that is. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So these ones are the ones that have been in partial shade. I've got another one that's developing down here. I want to chop these lower leaves away. You can see how they've been affected by when I water. That's all that is, by the way, is that when you water, they are just getting affected by the spray on the water. So I still have the ants crawling here, there and everywhere, but they're not actually stopping it from fruiting up. They're not getting into the cucumbers either, so that's wonderful. But again, you can sort of see along here, that one in the pot that I had more in the sun, it's still more in the sun, I've just moved it closer to where the shade is. But these are still doing way, way, way better than the ones that were in full sun. So I've got my blueberry bush with all the new shoots happening. So that's looking really, really good. And so many blueberries coming up on it. I must admit, I haven't even really been harvesting. So, yeah, look at that. Stunning. Oh, well, look at that. Here I'm going, oh, it looks wonderful. When, this is why you need to check on a regular basis. See the little black marks there? Bugs. And you know who's guilty of bringing those bugs in? The ants. Because you can see them crawling around down there. So that's alright. That's a quick fix, and I'll have to just make sure that I get them all. So they always love the new shoots. So got another cucumber plant here with the ants on it, of course, and then this one over here. So I think that my little experiment has already paid off with knowledge, and oh look, it's got a little baby one. They grow bigger and faster being in partial sun, partial shade over there in comparison to full sun over here. So over here, these little shoots that you can see is sunflowers. So I got some seeds and the dwarf sunflowers, so they're going to look very cute once they're up. These I have left still, so these are no longer for me to consume. These are for the worms. So I have just been leaving them, and the worms can actually have them bit by bit. So on to the next section. So this is the other section where I have got silver beet growing. So this one gets morning sun and then afternoon shade, which is really good because things don't tend to get really sad. and dehydrated. So these ones originally started off in pots, and I left them in the pot for a really long time, so they're not looking as great as, just say, the ones over here. So, but you can see that they're nice, healthy, they're growing strong, they're not getting poop on them, so we will be able to eat those ones. And the little seedlings down here, I actually threw in a whole heap of seeds of marigolds. So I just had a huge abundance of them and decided that I was going to get in and just scatter some seeds around, get some flowers happening, attract those good bugs because they help you take care of the bad bugs. One thing that you're really going to see with this video and all my other videos is the ants. So many ants. Like, you can just see them crawling all over the place here. I took out the radish. It's actually down there. Sorry, not the radish. It looks like parsnip actually, but it was a swede. I don't know why I said radish. Probably because I was just pulling one out of the soil just before, thinking of feeding one to the worms once they need it. But yeah, that was the swede, and it looks more like a parsnip. I've pulled it out. The ants are just all over it. Bugs are eating it. It's out of season, so I decided, no, it's gonna go. I've got the lettuce over here that's looking great, other than the ants crawling all over it. And then I have the strawberry plant, which has got so much fruit on it now, which I did taste one the other day, and they are really super sweet and yummy. So it's just got it all over the place. So it's good to see that the ants haven't completely invaded every bit of fruit that is on here, but it really annoys me that I've got so many ants. And he's just so cute though. I love the strawberries. The ants do drive me absolutely bonkers. And they're hard to get rid of when you've literally got them all over your yard. It is a very, very, very hard thing to move them on and get rid of them. Well, you don't move them on, but I suppose you do in a sense. So over here I have got the zinnia still growing, and I've still got the lettuce growing. So that's actually looking like it needs to be harvested. No ants in this one, which is great. And over here, look at my pretty flowers. So this was the cottage mix, and these have finally come through. So they're just, the colours are adorable. I absolutely love it. So I'm really happy I did that. Then I've got cobweb that I've got to move out of my way. These have all started flowering more. So really happy with that. Might actually sit them over here for the moment. I had them sitting in this container over here. Look at that root system. I think I better put that one back in. It's the only thing about when you sit them in water, hey, is they end up getting the root system shooting out through the bottom, and then you've got to repot them. So, but these ones are fine sitting out. And that's typical. Anyone that's got these, you'll notice that they're always getting attacked with the bugs. But yeah, edible flowers, edible leaves. And just a quick little walk through to show the desert roses. I'm still waiting for them to come into flower. But they're going nicely. And of course, these are still available for sale. Absolutely precious. I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. I hope you've enjoyed the quick little video, and I'll keep you updated on the veggie patch. And yeah, it's going to get a complete overhaul, and it's a bit disappointing. I guess it really does pay to know whereabouts you're planting things. Like, it was perfect for summer, it was going to get the shade, and therefore a bit of sun, bit of shade, and it was going to cope a lot better. But with the birds being in there at the moment, yeah, not the best place. But just as well, I have got a lot of plants in pots scattered around my yard in different locations, and I still got my lettuce that I can be using. I'm growing tiny little delicious looking cucumbers, and yeah, there's still a lot I can harvest, and luckily I've got silver beet in so many locations that I don't have to worry about the fact that all of it's going to waste. So I'm very grateful that I'm able to still harvest some of what I've put work into. So yeah, lesson learnt, guys. Know what your backyard is doing before you just start planting. Alright, so everyone take care, and I'll talk to you in the next video.